Bafethu, welcome to another I'm a Farmer. Ha, Bafethu. La I'm a Farmer ne. And like we should call this the White House. We have people coming from all over to visit us here. I feel like I'm Donald Trump Konamanje Bafethu, but I had like, yo, let me not tread on those waters. Those waters are very deep. Yeah. So all the way from KZN, we have Sphanaso. And she is part of the Metropolitan Shapers. You know what? The youth, Bafethu, they're doing things out there. They are doing things out there, but you know what? I'm talking too much. Let me talk to Sphanaso and she can tell us all about herself. Njani sis?
Ngiyaphila bhuti ninjani?
Siyaphila. Igama lakho Sphanaso. Usho ukuthini le ndaba leyo?
Usiphanaso kusho ukuthi the gift that God has. Isipho anaso. So the gift that God has. I'm basically a gift to my parents and to everyone around me.
You know, as black people's name gang anjing. With names, I have a problem.
Always. It must always mean something. And I think, I've actually lived, or I'm living up to my name, or I want to live up to my name. So I want to be a gift to everyone around me. My
name literally means Batabila, which literally means they are happy. I don't know who. Because every time my parents were like, hey, wait, no man.
No, I think the parents were happy to have you around. Thank you.
Anyway, moving on. So Sphanaso, please tell us about your operation. Where do you operate and what do you do?
So I am currently in Msinga, Top Kanokomboshe, deep rural areas in KZN. I was operating, however, in Pietermaritzburg for the longest time, and operations were going very well. But I decided, you know what, let me challenge myself. Let me go create impact. Let me make a difference. So I'm currently in the rurals, working there and wanting to show myself more and what I do in agriculture.
Wait. So you're operating in like a, let's just say a well-established area like Pietermaritzburg, and you went into the rurals. Like, what was the thinking behind that? It's like where I move, how did that come about?
All right, so let me give you a bit of background. Ne? Okay, as Sphanaso, I come from an agricultural family. Roots, agriculture, livestock, crops, you name it. And everything was going very well. Everything has been going very well. But I didn't have an interest, even in agriculture, to be very honest. And the more I came back to, because I was in the corporate world, studied corporate things, honors, communications. But I'm like, you know what? This thing of animals, I had a soft spot, but actually didn't realize it. So I'm like, okay, the business is doing well, but how can I challenge myself? Because I'm in such a space that is already thriving. And I know that I come from the rurals and nothing is happening there. So what can I do to make a difference? So I'm like, okay, step back, reassess. I want to go back home. I want to go and challenge myself on the farms and see what it is that I can dig and make out from that area.
So now you went back home.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, big up on that. So let's talk about your operation. What exactly, because I heard, Gucci, you love animals. So yeah, tell me about your operation. What type of animals and what do you do?
So I am generally a crops, sheep, small stock, big stock farmer, but currently in Msinga, I do layers, some chickens. And it was because I've always done livestock and animals, but it didn't work in that space. Sheep are not gonna work, it's dominant. Everyone has their own sheep. Cows, it's not gonna work. We all have it there. And I'm like, okay, what can I do that's gonna make sense? So we've had chickens before, but because no one took note of it, like they died because everyone was focusing on the big stock and the big animals. So I'm like, okay, basic form of nutrients, what can I do? It's an egg. Our economic system is going bizarre. You know, it's so difficult to afford certain things. So a basic form of nutrients with a bare minimum wage. It's definitely going to be an egg. And so that's how I ended up now saying, okay, let me focus on poultry, specifically egg production. So that's where I'm at, and it's really thriving. I tested the waters. In fact, because I was doing goats and sheep back in Pietermaritzburg, and was doing very well. I'm like, I need to do something that's gonna challenge me as well as a farmer, something very different and something that I'm gonna start from scratch. Because remember, it's always been a family thing. It's always been a family thing, it's not mine. I'm part of the process, I assist, I learn a lot, but I want to now dive into me, grow myself as a person. I think that's where the whole idea of saying, let me go back, let me do this production, let me challenge myself into making myself better and providing to the community what is necessary in my eyes.
So we all know that Kuku, they can have problems. Eh?
Oh yeah.
Look, if they're done correctly, they can be lucrative, particularly egg production. But then again, the challenges. Ooh. So what challenges did you have when you started this production?
I always say this, chickens especially. Okay, and let me stick to chickens. Chickens are very fragile. I say that if you don't know, it's like your children or a child. I treat all my livestock like that, big stock and small stock. Chickens, I treat them like that. If a child needs attention, give them attention. From a certain age, they need certain vaccines. You need certain foods. You need certain lightings. You need certain warmth. You need certain environments for you to thrive in that space. So that's how I've managed to see it through. So there's a plan. You need to have a plan. If you think you're going to wing it, you're probably going to fail. Yeah. It's not going to make sense.
Yeah.
You can wing it once or twice. But so the production for me has been challenging, I won't lie, because there's things that we can't control. The weather. Where I live, the weathers are extreme. And it can get really difficult for them to adapt and do that. So I face high mortality. I can have a plan, I can fix A, Y, and Z, but there's other things that I can't really take control of. But those things help me learn, okay, how do I make sure that I don't face the same problem again? And being a farmer generally, I always say we are creatives. We are creatives. You need to say, right, plan A doesn't work, don't sulk and cry, find a solution. Treat that chicken like it's your own child. So in the morning when I see, I'm like, hey man, your eyes are puffy, what's wrong, are you okay? Or when I see that I'm hearing a bit of coughs, something's off, you know, check on that. And they're very clean animals. A dirty space doesn't work for them. Make sure you clean every day. It sounds like, hey man, I can clean in 2 days. No, clean every day. Make sure that the environment is good, it's healthy, certain temperatures are there for them to thrive. And I try to really make sure that I put all the necessary means so that my chickens are okay and well and thrive so that I can produce enough for my community.
So speaking of which, how many birds do you have currently?
Currently, after mortality, let me actually tell you. So my second batch, because the cycle is every year, then after a year, you know, production is done, you must rebatch. So I did 500. I'm currently on 300, plus minus. That means I've lost 200 birds, plus minus mortality. It's bad. So I bought them in Limpopo, my last batch. So I did point of lay. So I did point of lay, and then they came at week 18, 19. And then they came very late at night. This point is they came very late. They were there. The next day when we assessed them, I got the vets and someone from agriculture. They got there, and when we were doing the testing, some of them, the age gap was so drastically different. That means now they gave me the wrong sheets for medication. Some of them hadn't been vaccinated for a certain thing. Some of them were not at a certain age to get that certain. Some of them needed now vaccination.
I had another farmer here who also bought chickens from somewhere, and he had the exact same problem.
Yep.
Where the age difference was like completely different to the chickens, and some of them were vaccinated, some were not,
yes.
And he also lost like a lot of chickens.
If you say to me they are at a certain age, I'm buying from you. I'm going to take what you say, and you're going to give me that vaccination calendar. And then when we get there, the next day, the chickens are so different. And now when this one starts getting sick, because I can't trace back, because this thing is really not accurate, they're going to get sick. I had a problem of, they started getting slime. We had vets coming through, and the thing's infectious. The whole batch started getting all these things. And see, the ones we vaccinated, they were like, they were just rolling over, like just dying left, right, and center. Because now when they're too sick, they can't handle the vaccine. So don't allow them to get to that. But now because my chain of the chickens was so drastically different. Some of them were actually, they're at a point where they've been laying, they can probably stop anytime soon. So another important thing is that how I want to make sure that I control that, I need to now, that means I grow my layers, because always outsourcing gives me a problem. And that's why I'm going to face mortality. And when I've paid you, you've given me the chickens, Now going back, you gave me chickens that I want. And I'm not there at the farm when you handpick my chickens. I trust that you're doing the right thing. But people don't do that because it's business. We're making business.
Yeah, we're making
but
money.
I'm losing. I lost. I'm telling you, I lost so many chickens. And not that it's about money, but it's about money. I invested so much money, but I also lost so much money. If I was doing it for the money, I always say about agriculture, if you think you're going to do it for the money, you're going to have a problem.
You're going to fail.
And I'm on 200, obviously with trying to find solutions of if I keep on bringing more, how do I make sure that this doesn't happen again? Because it's a learning curve as well. 200, but thriving. Now the 200 I've learned from that. So I've had vets, people from different entities to come and help out and see what I can do to make them better. But I'm on 200 and they're doing really well. They're doing really well.
And speaking of doing things better, biosecurity, in fact, especially for chickens.
Make sure that's the first thing. You see, even if me and you're like, hi man, you look clean, you seem clean, we're working everywhere. The first thing we do, disinfect hands, wear certain garments before you walk into that house, because those things are fragile. Because if you walk into that house with any sort of disease, or you stepped on something, you're going to cause the whole flock to shut down. If something catches, then it's your problem. Then it's a big loss. Biosecurity is very important.
And what measures, you just said Konamanji, you disinfect people. What measures do you have in place so that nonsense doesn't happen?
So as you say, biosecurity, when you enter the door, there's a big tub with all the disinfections. I have gloves for people when they're coming in. There's certain coats that you wear. If you don't want to go in, it's all laced up. You can just look through the window. But if you want to go in, sanitizer, all the works to make sure that everyone is clean. And even in the farm, not everyone goes into the houses. Not everyone goes into the houses. There's only 2 specific people designated that go into the houses. I'm the 3rd one. But 2 that are my assistants that only go there. Others were here outside. If anything, it's passed on to them, but they don't go into the actual house.
So, Amakanda, like let's talk about markets now.
Yeah.
Yeah, where do you distribute the eggs to?
Yabona, in my area. So my idea when I came was I'm going to give to Spar, ShopRites, because in my town, so from my place of work to the next small town, it's a very small town, it's like 40 k's. So that's quite a distance. But I'm like, okay, if I can produce this much, I can give them that. I started producing eggs, and you won't believe, here in my locals, the local supermarkets, my eggs are done before I can even get to those formal markets. So I saw that there is a high demand for it, to the point where I am lacking now production. There's a demand, there's no production. And so I think that's also another thing. Quality, consistency of the product. I have the quality, but I'm lacking consistency. Now that makes it seem like, what are you doing? But because I realized that I'm testing waters and these waters work. And in this place, it's striving, So my market is focused on my informal market. And I'm happy because it's just here in the community, because it's very affordable. That was also my other main thing, Wuti. I want a person who earns a 350 rand. Even if you have the last 1 rand, 1 rand, I can give you an egg. So that you can be able to live, get those basic form of nutrients. So that's my markets. But the more I expand, because I really plan to expand my production, I want to be able now to supply to the bigger stores, so that the local farming that I do is spread within Msinga region. Because even our source of eggs, we don't have local produce. Everything must always be outsourced to the next doors. So why can't I infiltrate that space, and give them what they want, and it's local and it's fresh. Yeah.
And I mean, at the end of the day, you still have a business to run.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
What you're doing is fantastic. I'll give you a mini story. There's a friend of mine. He's a mechanic. I've known him for many years. He always focused on the guys that bring you 50,000 rand jobs. And I said to him, brah, in order for your business to stay afloat, if Tabi comes and says, please do a service on my car, I can only give you 500 bucks. Take it. If so-and-so comes and says, please change my wheel bearings, I can only give you 1,000.
Yeah.
So that's the market that you're looking at, essentially. That's what you're saying.
Do you know how? So I do that because remember, when you're collecting eggs, there's going to be cracked eggs. You see, that's why. So you have the cracked eggs, you have the ones that didn't really form the shell, and then you have the really small eggs, and then you have like jumbo eggs. So it differentiates. Now you must grade and see accordingly. So now instead of me, the eggs are cracked. I can't put it in a tray and sell it. So what do? We put that aside. We're going to sell that. There's nothing wrong with the egg. It's just that it's cracked, right? And so those are the ones that go for R1. There's really other ones that come like really tiny. You can't sell that. And then those, I use them for community. So I do soup kitchens, end of the month. So I do that. So we cook those things, we give it to the people instead of it's being thrown away. But I can't throw anything along the way in my chain. So I make sure that I can, from a R1 you can get something to a R4 you can get something within the same production space. Yeah.
Ukudla kulahliwe mfethu.
Akulahli ukudla sakwashiwo njalo nje masikhulu. Don't throw away food.
Yeah, you don't throw away food, bro.
That's why even now angafumanga ama shells, because it's the egg. You have the yolk and everything inside. It's just that the egg is not, the shell is not hard. Preserve those shell up. At the month end, that's where we use them for giving back now to people, because we want to say, if things didn't work for me, I'm giving it to you. It's like if our birds you can see that, okay, this was not doing good, this one's not doing well. I have an option of saying, right, I'm going to give you a medication so that you can feel better. But at the same time, I'm like, okay, because I know that I have to do this community give back at the end, I'm like, okay, I can sacrifice these ones. So you sacrifice them and then you give part of the soup kitchen, sell it to cook it, make it taste nice, so that's what we give. So it really works.
Yo, yes, you're so invested in the community, and big up to that, eh?
Oh yeah.
So how's the response been from the community regarding your business?
Before I get to that, so just to go back, I think one thing that really drove me to even come back is that I want to now go put in what I've learned into the people that are sort of disadvantaged. I mean, I went to these schools, I have the ideas, I have the knowledge, I have the know-how, and it doesn't really help when it's people that already know what I'm doing or what I'm talking about. So I'm like, okay, back to my community, back to where I know that they can appreciate this and we can all grow together. So having that space and being the difference, it has really helped my community. There's employment, there's people, even adults. I work from people who are elderly to the youth, because the elderly now, they know the people and the spaces and guidance they guide, because some of them do the production, but in very small spaces for their homes. So as you learn, you find that I need you, and you helping me, I can invest more in myself now to give back to the other people. So the community has been really helpful in that manner. I'm also wanting to help the community by saying, right, so we can have trainings, we can create more job employments, we can make sure that households are fed. But people in my community, if you don't have money now, I'll give you the produce. I'll give you the produce. And it's been they've been really supportive. They've been really encouraging of the journey. They're even grateful. I think what I like about abantu basemakhaya, the farms, we live like the old lifestyle.
Yeah.
Like the old lifestyle. So if they see Guti, man, Sphanaso there's eggs lapaya COMET imported. There's eggs at COMET. They want to be hands-on. They want to assist. They want to support. But their support is
Yeah.
Those 2 rands and 3 rands make up the 100 rand. Those 2 rands and 3 rands make up the 1,000. Those 2 rands and 3 rands make up the 100,000. And if I have the 100,000, I can invest. And I'm investing in the betterment of you, our youth, the children around, the families, So it works. There is the receiving of the business has been really great, really supportive, really supportive.
So it sounds to me that you're very, very interested in building the community. So speaking of the community, how have they, what's the response from them?
So the community has been responding really positively to the business and the eggs. They're very supportive, because anyone who has heard that COMET is running, they want to be part of that system and helpful. So the elderly, where can we help? What are you doing? What's going on? So they've actually also made me realize other things, because they say indlela ibuzwa kwabaphambili, and 100% ibuzwa kwabaphambili, and laba baphambili make you be aware of certain problems and how you can find solutions to those things. And also because they know that if I'm well equipped, I can assist them, I can assist the children, because yabona job employment is absolutely a nightmare.
Yeah.
And on that side,
Yep.
because even Msinga, as much as we're trying to develop and it's a rural area, but you find that after grade 12, everyone is just there, not knowing anything to do. But we have the skills because we can work with our hands. This is what we know. So if now we can bring those skills, and if they can help me equip myself for me to equip them, you know, then it's better. But they're very supportive, very open to giving them the concept of we can make this a big operation, and we can all have some sort of piece of the pie within a space in our community.
Now, speaking of assistance, I mean, there's a lot of companies out there, including the government. You know?
Sure.
They are helping, but there are a few companies that actually do way more than that. So tell me about who assisted you and how has that process been?
Let me tell you, Metropolitan Collective Shapers, so I'm the finalist for the top 10 KZN agriculture. And it's a program at first that I basically didn't know that it's going to be of so much impact in my life. Let me just run it back a bit. I saw an ad. I'm like, this is my opportunity to have some sort of injection into the business. I took my luck, took a video, sent it through. And the first part of Metropolitan, so what they have is value add. When I say I saw that this program is about to be life-changing, trust me. So value add taught me a lot of things. Value add builds you as a person before the business. If you think you know everything, you don't. Trust me. We all learn every day. We all learn every day. So one of, because there are different topics and courses that we take along the way through the Metropolitan journey. And I remember the question was, one of the topics was about self and self-development. The question was, do you love yourself? I was one of the first times, I'm like, yes, 100%. You know, I love myself. Okay, they said, okay. If you love yourself, do you ever say no to things that you shouldn't agree to? I'm just like you, I'm a person who just agrees to everything so that I can make someone else feel better. Loving yourself means say no to other things so that you can have progression. I love myself enough to have proper time management. I love myself enough to be able to see when there's an opportunity or when I'm just being dragged, you know? So it teaches you how to build yourself as a person before the business. Because if you can't control something as big as time management, you won't be able to run a business. So presentation, self, how to readjust yourself according to the situation that you're in. They made example about the corporate world. We also speak about corporate. You've been applying for so many jobs. At that point, no one is taking you. Do you not think that you need to revalue your CV? Change, adjust, because the world was always revolving. So as everything evolves, you also evolve. We moved on to other gates. They introduced the importance of being mentored as an entrepreneur. We need a lot of mentorship and guidance. And when I say Metropolitan has made a difference, trust. Because you think that you just need money. I can have money now, but if I don't know how to properly manage, properly use, properly understand how to function my finance, I'm going to struggle. They can give me 100,000 now. If money has no direction, it's going nowhere. So that's what they teach. It's part of that program. Have direction, you as a person. If I have direction, and if they inject money, equipment, I know how to be well equipped to be able to handle those things and those assets. So that program, absolutely wonderful. Such a beautiful initiative that actually teaches you about yourself before giving you the necessary equipment or the stuff that you need or their injection for your business. So big ups to Metropolitan and Collective Shapers program. Definitely made an impact. And as a small farmer, those programs and those initiatives work for us because government helps, you know, government helps, but it's also a thing of, because I'm such a small farmer, some criteria is a bit like rough on me and tough on me.
And red tape.
Ne? Same time, like, oh, shame, we would love to help you, but because you don't meet certain criteria, and I can't. But now Metropolitan brings in a thing of, you're a small farmer, all right, let me equip you, and then let me boost you financially. Let's see what you can do. So, and that's what really made me appreciate the whole thing about them and taking it serious, because that program is really about development. It's really about development, and it's made such a great impact. Appreciate it, because now I'm well equipped. The Msinga community, I'm equipping them for what's best, because training myself is training them. If I invest in myself, I invest in my community. And I think that's one of the main things that really drives me. I want to make a difference. I want to be the difference in my community, because I can see, I'm like, hey man, Sphanaso, you have all the knowledge and ability. Now come on, do something. You're not here to be basic. Create movement in that place, and that's what I plan to do.
What I find fascinating about the program, the Collective Shapers program, is that many other businesses will come to you as the farmer, as partners, and say, I'm 39 mali. There's money, you just say that we helped you. That's it. Nobody says, hang on, instead of developing the car, how about we develop the driver first?
Sure.
Do you understand?
Sure.
Because you can have I'm going to reference cars because I'm a car guy.
Yeah.
I mean, you can have the best engine in the world, the best tires, the best this. But if you can't drive, Baba,
yeah.
Yeah. So the fact that they actually started with investing in you as an individual.
Yes.
I mean, what difference now did it make, not only in your business, but also in your personal life?
I think realizing that business is not just about let's make money. It's something quick that's going to just work now and here. It's realizing that if I need to make this work, I need to be strong mentally. I need to have an understanding of what a cent on top of a cent is. I need to value my people, so we call it the up-down network. I need someone who's down here, I need someone who's in the middle, and I need someone who's at top. So you understand and actually appreciate everyone around you. You think you don't need that Loya Baba in the rural areas who does nothing. You need that person. Because in order for me to be a better person, I need him. I need the one who is above to help me and guide me. Okay, this is what you're doing, this is what you do. So Metropolitan, it strengthens your mind. I always say, if my mind cracks, then I'm done. And Metropolitan, like, reiterated that thing in me. It's Sphanaso, you can do this. You have the mental capacity. But for you to do that, you need A, B, and C. Remember, develop yourself. Remember that you're going to be shaken, but you need to withstand your ground. Why are you doing this? Why are you in this business? Are you just here for the money or what? So you reassess yourself. That's why I'm saying, if I invest in myself, I invest in everyone around me. So it's such a great initiative. In fact, I was speaking to the other shapers. I'm like, I don't want to lie. Personally, even if I hadn't gotten like cash injection, they have done absolutely great for me. Because developing me as a person, you've done more than enough. Mentoring me as a person, you've done absolutely more than enough. Because I can withstand certain things. I just said it. Money, we can both get 100,000 now. If money has no direction, if you have no direction, best believe that thing is going to blow. Next thing, like I had 100,000, you're on 20,000. What have you done? You have nothing to point to. But if I'm intentional, in fact, intentional, I just remembered. So I'm living on a concept of intentionality. Metropolitan taught me this, the program I'm telling you about. Be intentional in your conversations. Be intentional in the people that you're with. Be intentional with networking. Be intentional with what it is that you want to do. If it means physically write it down, you know. But I can't have conversations that do not fuel into where I am going or who I am as a person. Goes back to saying, if you can't say no, that means that's not your space. If I'm networking just so that, let's just do something light. If you're still in that moment, you're not my person. I don't need that. I need someone who, if I think, let's bounce ideas. What are you thinking? Or this is a problem. I feel like I have a brick wall. Help me break this down. Intentionality. Be intentional in every conversation, in everything that you do. Trust me, it works and you move. Where did I learn that? Metropolitan Collective Shapers. 100%.
Oh, yeah, man. Maybe I should have went to this program. You know, maybe I hope you guys in Metropolitan, space. Because I want to enter this program. Yo.
If you're within the age, I would absolutely recommend. I ingena bafethu. Mawusanethuba youth. Phakathi bafethu. Just go for it. Give it a shot. Throw yourself in. Dive in the deep end and see what's gonna take. You have nothing to lose. It's not like ungena ngemali. You don't even take out a cent. You just dive in, and then just give yourself in the process, and then you're gone.
So Sphanaso.
Yeah.
Just two last things. One. Yeah. What is your goal for your business?
My goal is to be one of the big production hubs of eggs in the region, yes, Msinga, and to be a local supplier to the people of Msinga, to create more employment, to create more knowledge and skills for people to be able to do this, and also to train people on how to also themselves run their small operations in their spaces. Because, as I said, employment is scarce, you know, but also it's really scarier when you want to start something and don't know where to start. I want to be their starting point. I want to be the takeoff of people and making a difference, expanding into bigger markets and bigger spaces, increasing my production, learning more about the industry and infiltrating company yasemsinga. It's deep in the rurals. If you were to go to, you would see top of a mountain, it's the last mountain at the end of everything. And I think I'm giving myself in, not for the money, for the people. Because if I were to say it's for the money, dry and out, done. But because at the end of the mountain, having people who drive for so many kilometers just to come here, even me taking it to the people, I want that to eventually grow and expand and start eventually with time making an impact and making financial sense. But for now, it's definitely for the love. But the expansion is going to create jobs. It's going to create a difference in the households of the families. And for the youth, females, blacks, let's go for it.
As you touched on another point, females.
Oh, yeah.
So, okay, I know what is Katsashire. Time is not on our side,
sure.
But I'm just going to go ahead, bro. So, Msinga is like a rural areas and primarily very traditional, ne?
Yes.
Here comes a young Sphanaso who happens to be a girl.
Yes.
And now you're like, well, I'm going to start this business, I'm going to start this thing. So, how did that go for you as a female, bro? Like, I can see by your laugh, you had some challenges there.
Oh, yeah, 100%. But I think what played a role was my gran and my gran, they did farming. And COMET is sort of known because we used to produce for people in the area. But then 35, 40 years, nothing's been happening, you know? Everything just went quiet. And then here I am trying to resuscitate. Now, the first thing is that they question how I speak. Like, go to you. Hey, why are you speaking like this? Why is Zulu Sako singing? Because it's proper traditional.
Yeah.
Others, they proper traditional.
So they call you a coconut, basically.
Oh, yeah. And I actually struggle from that. People call me a coconut. Then when I get there to even when you're speaking Zulu,
I'm called a coconut too. Yeah.
But you know what? I think having a very open mind and wanting to get closer to people, I'm very patient. I'm very patient. I want to, if I want to be in a space, I'm going to try to get to a space. And now because I want to help. So at first they were like, reluctant. But then, you know, I use my grand. It's like, hi, but isn't this Tondoni's granddaughter? And they're like, yeah, hi, but what are you doing? So then I'm like, okay, let me maximize. I want to help her now. Let me maximize on this. So that did play a role for me. But it's going really well. I'd be lying if they said most of them were like, we don't know what you hear about. No. Most of them were very receiving of me. And also just having my grand's name really helped me a lot. Yeah.
It is Ivalelana, ne?
Sure.
Sphanaso, thank you so much for coming through to Farmer, and strength to you. I mean, it takes guts, bruh. It takes guts to go and develop a community where people overlook it.
Yeah.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
I mean, I've been around the country. Small towns and rural communities are not developed. And I'm not going to lie. They're not developed. But anyway, that's another conversation for another day. So thanks for coming through, and strength to you and your business.
Thank you so much for having me. Appreciate the opportunity.
So, one thing I really appreciate about the South African youth in general is that they want to give back. And they are giving back. I mean, as I said, small towns are not developed. But there are people out there who say, you know what, this is not right. We are going to develop this so that the future generations don't struggle and move to Gauteng and look for jobs. That's like, come on now. Anyway, guys, big up to Metropolitan for this opportunity. Thank you for developing our young people so that they give us a better future. And thank you for watching. I'm a farmer, guys, and see you in the next one.